After the age of 70, the body reacts differently to travel stress even during familiar trips. This change is often quiet. It does not announce itself clearly. Many people only notice it after the journey has already begun. A trip that once felt easy may now feel slightly heavier. The destination is the same. The route is familiar. The suitcase is packed the way it has always been. Yet the body responds in a new way. Fatigue appears sooner. Muscles feel tighter. The mind takes a little longer to settle. None of these signals are dramatic. They are gentle reminders that the body's relationship with movement, time, and pressure has shifted. For many years, the body adapts quickly. It adjusts to early mornings, long lines, delayed meals, and unfamiliar beds with little complaint. After 70, that flexibility becomes more limited. The nervous system is more sensitive to changes in environment. The muscles require more time to warm up and recover. The heart and circulation respond more strongly to prolonged sitting, standing, or rushing. These are not problems. They are natural transitions. Travel stress does not always come from distance. It often comes from disruption. Waking earlier than usual, skipping a meal, sitting still for too long, carrying a bag that feels only slightly heavy, navigating crowds and noise. Each of these may seem small on its own, but together they ask more from the body than before. What makes this challenging is that many older adults compare the present body to the past one. I've done this trip many times, they think. Nothing has changed. But something has. Not in a way that demands fear, but in a way that invites attention. The body after 70 values rhythm more than speed. Familiar routines provide stability. When those routines are interrupted, the body works harder to maintain balance. Even positive excitement can feel like stress. Anticipation, planning, and movement all stimulate the nervous system. After 70, the body may take longer to return to a calm state. This can show up as restlessness at night, shallow sleep, or lingering tiredness the next day. Again, these are not warnings of danger. They are signals asking for gentler pacing. Understanding this shift changes how travel is approached. It is no longer about proving independence or keeping up with younger rhythms. It becomes about honoring the body's current needs. Slower transitions, more rest, fewer rushed moments. Familiar comforts carried along a regular mealtime, a quiet pause, a short walk instead of a long one. Travel after 70 is still meaningful. It still brings connection, memories, and joy, but it asks for a different kind of listening. When the body is heard early, it does not need to speak louder later. Some people listen quietly, some feel like sharing a few words. Both are welcome here. Long periods of sitting during flights or car rides can quietly affect circulation and joint comfort. This is not something most people notice right away. It unfolds slowly, often beneath the surface, especially after the age of 70. When we are younger, the body tolerates stillness with little protest. Sitting for hours feels inconvenient, but recovery is quick. Muscles loosen easily, blood flow adjusts, joints regain comfort after a short walk. After 70, that same stillness carries a different weight. The body still adapts, but it does so more slowly and with greater effort. During long journeys, the legs remain bent for extended periods. Blood circulation in the lower body becomes less efficient. This does not always cause pain or alarm. Instead, it may appear as stiffness when standing up, a heavy feeling in the calves, or ankles that feel slightly swollen by the end of the day. These sensations are easy to dismiss, especially when travel feels exciting or purposeful, but they are meaningful signals. Joints also respond to prolonged sitting in subtle ways. Hips, knees, and lower back rely on gentle movement to stay lubricated and comfortable. When movement is limited, these joints stiffen. After 70, they need more time to warm up again. The first steps after a long ride may feel unsteady or tight. The body is not failing, it is simply asking for patience. What makes this challenge easy to overlook is familiarity. Many people have taken long car rides or flights for decades. The seats feel the same. The routines are unchanged. But the body experiencing them is not the same body as before. Aging changes circulation, connective tissue elasticity, and muscle responsiveness. These changes are gradual and natural, which is why they often go unnoticed until discomfort accumulates. Stillness also affects the nervous system. Remaining in one position for too long can subtly increase tension. The body stays alert without release. After 70, this tension may linger longer, contributing to fatigue or restlessness later in the day. It is not always the destination that feels tiring, but the way the body was held along the way. This does not mean travel must be avoided. It means the body benefits from gentle interruptions to stillness. Small movements matter more now than they once did. Shifting position, standing briefly when possible, stretching the ankles or rolling the shoulders. These actions may seem insignificant, yet they support circulation and joint ease in quiet but meaningful ways. Comfort also becomes more important than convenience. Cushions, supportive footwear, and relaxed posture help the body feel safer during long sitting periods. After 70, the body responds well to kindness. When comfort is prioritized, recovery is smoother. Long journeys are not about endurance anymore. They are about cooperation between intention and the body's limits. When circulation and joints are supported along the way, the body arrives not only at the destination but also in a calmer, steadier state. There is no need to respond, but if this reflection felt familiar, you may leave a quiet line below. Changes in routine sleep, meals, time zones may disrupt the body more than expected. This disruption is often gentle at first, almost unnoticeable, especially for those who have traveled many times before. The body does not resist immediately. It adapts quietly, doing its best to follow along. But after the age of 70, these small shifts ask more of the body than they once did. Sleep is usually the first rhythm to change. Going to bed later than usual, waking earlier for a flight, sleeping in a new place with unfamiliar sounds and light. Even one night of altered sleep can feel different now. The body may not fully rest even if the mind feels calm. The next day begins with a subtle tiredness that lingers longer than expected. Meals are another quiet disruption. Travel often changes when and what we eat. A delayed breakfast, a heavier dinner, snacks replacing regular meals. For many years, the digestive system adjusts quickly. After 70, it prefers predictability. When meals shift, digestion may slow. The body may feel heavier, less comfortable, or slightly unsettled. These are not warnings. They are signals of a system that values rhythm. Time zones add another layer. Even small changes can affect the body's internal clock. The sense of day and night becomes less clear. The body may feel alert at unusual hours and tired when it expects to function. After 70, the nervous system takes longer to realign. This can show up as lightheadedness, reduced appetite, or difficulty focusing. Again, nothing dramatic, just gentle reminders that timing matters more now. What often surprises people is that these disruptions can appear even on short trips. A single night away, a familiar destination, a routine that feels only slightly different. The body notices these differences even when the mind does not. It is not weakness. It is sensitivity shaped by time. Many older adults tell themselves to push through. It's just a few days, they think, and often they do manage. But the cost is paid quietly through fatigue that builds sleep that does not fully restore, or a sense of imbalance that appears later. The body is not asking for avoidance. It is asking for awareness. When routines are gently protected, the body responds with greater ease. Keeping meal times close to normal. Allowing extra time for sleep. Accepting slower mornings. These choices help the body feel safe within change. After 70, stability supports enjoyment more than spontaneity. Travel does not need to be rigid. It simply benefits from softness. When routines bend gently instead of breaking, the body adapts without strain. Listening early prevents discomfort later. Some people listen quietly. Some feel like sharing a small sign of recognition. If this felt familiar to you, you may leave a gentle one below. Dehydration happens more easily while traveling, especially in plains or warm climates. This is one of the most overlooked challenges of travel after the age of 70, precisely because it rarely feels urgent or dramatic. Many people associate dehydration with strong thirst, a dry mouth, a clear signal to drink water. But after 70, the body's thirst response becomes quieter. It does not always send clear messages. By the time thirst is noticed, the body may already be slightly depleted. During travel, this happens even more easily. Airplanes are especially drying environments. The cabin air holds very little moisture. Each breath gently pulls water from the body. Over several hours, this adds up. The skin may feel tighter, the eyes slightly dry, the body a little heavier or slower. These changes often go unnoticed because they do not feel like a problem. They feel like travel fatigue. Warm climates create a similar effect in a different way. Heat encourages fluid loss through perspiration, even when sweating is not obvious. Older adults may not feel hot in the same way they once did, yet the body is still losing moisture. Walking more than usual, sitting in the sun, or simply adjusting to a warmer environment quietly increases the body's need for fluids. Another reason dehydration is common during travel is habit disruption. Drinking water may be delayed to avoid frequent restroom stops. Meals may replace fluids without fully compensating. Coffee or tea becomes more frequent while plain water becomes less appealing. None of these choices are harmful on their own, but together they can gently shift the body out of balance. After 70, hydration supports more than comfort. It influences circulation, digestion, joint ease, and mental clarity. When fluids are low, the blood becomes slightly thicker. The heart works a bit harder. Joints feel less forgiving. The mind may feel dull or slower. These effects are subtle, but they shape how the entire journey feels. What makes dehydration tricky is that it often shows up indirectly. A mild headache, a sense of heaviness, less patience, slight dizziness when standing. These are easy to attribute to age or travel stress, when in fact the body is simply asking for replenishment. Hydration after 70 is not about drinking large amounts at once. The body responds better to small, regular sips. Gentle consistency matters more than volume. Water, light soups, and familiar fluids taken throughout the day support balance without strain. Travel becomes more comfortable when hydration is treated as part of pacing, not as an afterthought. The body appreciates steady care. When fluids are replenished early and often, energy remains more even, and recovery becomes easier. Dehydration during travel is not a danger to fear. It is a quiet signal to notice. When the body is supported in this simple way, the journey feels less demanding and more peaceful even after 70. Balance and coordination can be subtly challenged by uneven surfaces, stairs, or unfamiliar spaces. These challenges rarely appear as sudden problems. They emerge quietly, often in places that seem ordinary at first glance. When we are younger, the body automatically adjusts to changes in ground level. A small step, a loose stone, a shallow stair is corrected without conscious thought. Muscles respond quickly. The inner sense of balance compensates instantly. After the age of 70, these corrections still happen, but they take a little longer. The margin for error becomes smaller. Unfamiliar spaces ask more from the body than familiar ones. A hotel room arranged differently from home. A bathroom with a step that is easy to miss. A hallway with softer lighting. Outdoors, sidewalks may slope slightly. Pavements may be uneven. In warm places, sandals or different shoes change how the foot meets the ground. None of these details are dangerous on their own, but together they require the body to stay alert in a way it is no longer used to doing continuously. Stairs are a common example. At home, stairs are known and remembered by the body. While traveling, stairs vary in height, depth, and railing support. Some are narrow. Some are worn smooth. Some are poorly lit. After 70, the legs may lift a little less high than before. The eyes may take longer to judge depth. The body still manages, but it benefits from extra attention. Balance is also closely tied to fatigue. As the day goes on, muscles tire more quickly. Reaction time slows slightly. What felt steady in the morning may feel less so in the evening. Travel days often involve more walking than usual, combined with less rest. This combination gently challenges coordination without making it obvious. Another quiet factor is distraction. Looking for directions, carrying a bag, paying attention to surroundings. The brain divides its focus. After 70, balance relies more on conscious awareness than before. When attention is split, the body has less capacity to respond instantly to uneven ground or unexpected steps. These changes do not mean the body is fragile. They mean it has become more precise. It asks for clearer signals and slower movement. Simple adjustments support stability, pausing before stepping using railings, choosing supportive footwear, and allowing extra time to move through unfamiliar spaces. What matters most is not fear, but awareness. When the body is allowed to move at its own pace, balance feels steadier. Coordination improves when pressure is removed. Travel becomes safer not through caution alone, but through kindness toward the body's changing needs. After 70, balance is less about strength and more about presence. When movement is mindful, unfamiliar spaces become navigable again, calmly, steadily, and with confidence. Fatigue may build up faster even when the trip feels enjoyable and not physically demanding. This is one of the most confusing experiences many people notice after the age of 70. The trip feels pleasant. The pace seems reasonable. There is no heavy lifting or strenuous activity, and yet tiredness appears sooner and lasts longer than expected. This kind of fatigue is not caused by effort alone. It comes from accumulation. Small demands add up quietly throughout the day. Walking a little more than usual, standing in lines, sitting upright for long periods, paying attention to new surroundings, holding conversations, making decisions. None of these feel difficult on their own, but together they draw from the body's reserves. After 70, the body recovers more slowly from stimulation. The nervous system takes longer to settle, muscles need more time to relax. The heart and circulation respond well, but with less flexibility than before. Even positive excitement, seeing loved ones, exploring new places, enjoying good food asks for energy. Pleasure does not cancel effort. It simply disguises it. Many people are surprised when fatigue appears not during the activity, but afterward. The evening feels heavier, sleep is less refreshing. The next morning begins with a sense of weariness that does not match the memory of the day. This is not weakness. It is the body's way of signaling that it has been working steadily without enough pauses. Travel also changes the rhythm of rest. Breaks happen later or are skipped entirely. The body stays on for longer stretches. After 70, the ability to sustain alertness without rest is reduced. Short pauses that once felt optional now make a meaningful difference. Another factor is posture. Sitting upright for hours, walking on hard surfaces, or carrying light bags all create low-level strain. The body compensates quietly. Over time, that compensation turns into fatigue. Because the strain is mild, it often goes unnoticed until energy drops. What helps is not pushing through but pacing differently. Rest becomes part of the journey, not something earned at the end. Sitting for a few minutes, closing the eyes briefly, reducing evening plans. These small choices allow energy to return gradually instead of being depleted all at once. Fatigue after 70 is not a sign that travel is too much. It is a reminder that the body values balance more than endurance. When rest is woven gently into enjoyable moments, the body responds with steadier energy and a calmer recovery. Some people notice this quietly. Some recognize it immediately. If this felt familiar to you, you may leave a small one below only if you wish. Medications can be forgotten, delayed, or taken at irregular times during travel. This is not usually the result of carelessness. It happens because travel quietly rearranges the structure of the day. At home, medication routines are often anchored to familiar cues. A specific chair in the morning, a cup of tea at a certain hour, a clock on the wall that is glanced at without thinking. These cues create a rhythm the body and mind follow together. During travel, many of these anchors disappear at once. Days begin earlier or later than usual. Meals shift. Sleep is lighter or broken. Time zones may blur the sense of morning and evening. In this unfamiliar flow, medication timing can slip gently out of place. A dose is postponed because a meal was delayed. Another is forgotten because the day felt unusually full. None of this feels alarming in the moment. What makes this more noticeable after the age of 70 is that consistency matters more than before. The body becomes less forgiving of irregular timing. Medications that support blood pressure, digestion, sleep, or comfort work best when taken steadily. When timing changes, the body may respond with subtle discomfort rather than clear warning signs. Sometimes the issue is not forgetting entirely but hesitation. People avoid taking medication because they are unsure of the time, or they delay because they do not want to interrupt an activity. Others take it later than usual, assuming a few hours will not matter. Often it does not cause immediate trouble, but the body remembers patterns, even small ones. Travel also increases mental load. Navigating routes, keeping track of belongings, responding to new environments, all of this occupies attention. After 70, memory works best when demands are simple and predictable. When attention is divided, small routines are the first to be affected. Another quiet factor is discomfort with public spaces. Some people avoid taking medications in airports, buses, or restaurants. They wait for privacy that comes later than expected. This delay becomes part of the irregularity. Again, this is understandable. It is human. The solution is not strictness. It is gentleness and preparation. Carrying medications in an accessible place. Using simple reminders. Allowing brief pauses in the day. These small supports protect rhythm without creating pressure. Travel after 70 does not require perfection. It benefits from kindness toward routines that have quietly supported the body for years. When medication timing is respected, the body feels steadier. Recovery is smoother, the journey feels less demanding. There is no need to respond to this, but if it reflected something you've noticed before, a quiet thought is always welcome here. Crowded places and busy schedules may place extra strain on the nervous system. This strain does not always feel like stress in the usual sense. It often appears quietly, especially after the age of 70, when the nervous system becomes more sensitive to stimulation. Crowds bring constant input. Voices overlap. Movement comes from every direction. Lights, sounds, and visual details compete for attention. When we are younger, the brain filters much of this automatically. It decides what matters and what can be ignored. After 70, that filtering process becomes less efficient. The brain works harder to make sense of the environment, even when the person feels calm on the surface. Busy schedules create a similar effect, moving from one activity to the next, watching the clock, keeping track of plans, adjusting to small changes. None of these feel difficult on their own, but together they keep the nervous system in a state of alertness for long periods. After 70, the body needs more frequent opportunities to settle back into calm. What often surprises people is that enjoyment does not protect against this strain. A pleasant gathering, a long-awaited trip, a busy day filled with meaningful moments. These experiences still stimulate the nervous system. The body does not distinguish between good and bad stimulation. It only knows intensity and duration. When the nervous system is overworked, the signs are subtle. Irritability without clear cause, difficulty concentrating, restlessness in the evening, light sleep, a sense of being wired but tired. These sensations are easy to dismiss or blame on age, but they are signals of a system that has not had enough quiet time. Crowded environments also reduce the sense of control. After 70, feeling oriented and secure matters more. In unfamiliar, busy places, the body stays alert to potential obstacles. Balance, coordination, and awareness are all engaged at once. This constant readiness consumes energy even when no problem occurs. Busy schedules leave little room for recovery. Short pauses that once happened naturally are filled with activity. Meals are rushed. Sitting quietly feels inefficient. But after 70, these pauses are not luxuries. They are how the nervous system resets. Supporting the nervous system during travel does not mean avoiding people or plans. It means creating space between moments, choosing quieter routes when possible, allowing unscheduled time, sitting without conversation for a few minutes. These choices lower stimulation without reducing meaning. After 70, calm becomes a form of strength. When the nervous system is protected, the body moves more steadily, sleep comes more easily, and enjoyment deepens. Travel feels less overwhelming and more nourishing even in busy places. Small discomforts are often ignored during trips, but they can accumulate over several days. This accumulation rarely announces itself clearly. It happens quietly through moments that feel too minor to mention or address. During travel, attention is usually directed outward. Schedules, destinations, conversations, and logistics take priority. A slightly stiff neck, mild foot soreness, a hint of indigestion, a light headache. Each of these feels temporary, almost insignificant. Many people tell themselves it will pass once the day ends. After the age of 70, the body processes these small signals differently. Recovery takes longer. Muscles and joints do not reset as quickly overnight. The nervous system holds on to tension. What was minor yesterday does not fully disappear by morning. Instead, it layers itself onto the next day. The problem is not the discomfort itself, but the habit of ignoring it. Travel encourages endurance. People push through because they do not want to disrupt plans or slow others down. They choose not to sit when sitting would help. They walk a little farther than is comfortable. They delay rest. None of these choices feel harmful in isolation. Over several days, however, the body begins to respond. Fatigue deepens, balance feels less steady, sleep becomes lighter, mood shifts slightly. The body is not complaining loudly, it is asking quietly for acknowledgement. What makes this accumulation easy to miss is that the discomforts change form. A sore knee becomes general tiredness. Mild swelling turns into heaviness. Digestive unease becomes loss of appetite. These shifts make it harder to trace the cause. The body seems off, but no single reason stands out. After 70, the body relies more on early correction than later recovery. Small adjustments made at the first sign of discomfort can prevent much larger strain. A brief rest, supportive shoes, gentle stretching, extra hydration. These actions work best when discomfort is still light. Ignoring small signals does not mean something will go wrong, but listening to them often means the trip remains enjoyable. The body feels included rather than managed. When discomfort is respected, energy stays more even and recovery happens naturally. Travel after 70 is not about avoiding effort. It is about responding sooner. Small discomforts are not interruptions, they are information. When that information is honored, the body carries less burden from one day to the next, and the journey feels steadier all the way through. Traveling after 70 is not unsafe. It simply benefits from slower pacing, planning, and listening to the body. This idea often brings relief to people who worry that growing older means giving things up. In reality, it means traveling differently, not traveling less. Many older adults have a lifetime of experience moving through the world. They have adapted to change, solve problems, and learned resilience in ways younger people have not yet needed to. What changes after 70 is not the ability to travel, but the body's preference for how travel unfolds. Speed matters less. Rhythm matters more. Slower pacing allows the body to stay balanced. Moving with less urgency reduces strain on joint circulation and the nervous system. Extra time between activities gives muscles a chance to recover and the mind a chance to settle. When transitions are unhurried, the body feels safer and safety supports energy. Planning becomes an act of care rather than control. Knowing where rest is possible. Allowing space for meals at familiar times. Choosing accommodations that feel calm rather than impressive. These decisions do not limit the experience. They shape it into something sustainable. After 70, comfort often enhances enjoyment rather than diminishing it. Listening to the body is perhaps the most important shift. The body speaks in small ways now. A need to sit, a desire for quiet, a moment of fatigue. These signals are not obstacles. They are guidance. When they are acknowledged early, the body does not need to escalate them later. One of the quiet truths of aging is that pleasure deepens when pressure fades, seeing fewer places but experiencing them more fully. Having meaningful conversations without rushing, allowing a morning to unfold slowly, these moments often become the most remembered parts of a trip. Travel after 70 is not about keeping up with younger expectations. It is about honoring a lifetime of experience. The body has carried many years with strength and patience. When it is met with the same patience in return, it responds generously. Fear often comes from misunderstanding. Slower travel is not a sign of decline. It is a refined way of moving through the world. Planning is not limitation. It is freedom from unnecessary strain. Listening to the body is not caution. It is wisdom. When travel is approached this way, it becomes less exhausting and more nourishing. The journey supports well-being rather than testing it. The destination is reached with steadier energy, and the return home feels gentler, not depleted. Some people reach this understanding quietly. Others arrive there through experience. If these reflections resonate with you, you are welcome to stay with this space by subscribing to the channel, where we continue to explore life after 70 with calm, clarity, and respect for the body's natural rhythm.